Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport. So we've obviously looked at the car list recently, which I have mixed thoughts about.
The raceway of Sega is 2.2 miles of twisting blacktop, surrounded by deep gravel. So if you go off, you will lose many track positions slowly getting back on.
Alright then. I figured we'd go for a different way of doing this game. To be honest, no, that's not good. Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport. So yeah, unfortunately you've missed out on a little bit of the things that I have done on this game already, just so I could get into the full flow of the game. And then when I tried recording this part of the championship, this practical performance championship, the audio seemed to be way too loud, so you missed out on a bit of the intro. But we've still got the practice that we can do, and hopefully the audio will be a little bit better this time. Obviously being a new game, audio is always going to be different, so it's a bit of a trial and error kind of thing in that regard. So yeah, let's see what this Golf R can do around Laguna Seca for a few laps before we hit the race. Looking a little loud on my end. Engine seems to be the loudest. Tyres. Not the master volume down by 5. Right, hopefully that'll make it all a bit easier to deal with. Looks like it might well have done. So let's see what we can do around this track. Now, one slight revision to my car list review is that there is a newer version of this Golf R I didn't notice, just because the only real big difference seemingly is the power and the year, as it's from 2022 rather than 2021 like this one that we reviewed in Forza Horizon 5. So yeah, there is a new Golf as well, so that's another road car that we've got in this game that we haven't had before, which is always nice. But yeah, the fact that, you know, there's very few highly noticeable new road cars to this game or to the Forza series is a little bit concerning, to the point where, yeah, the Golf that should have been a noticeable car was so buried in everything else that, yeah, just didn't notice it, so apologies on that regard. But yeah, we'll review that car as well as the Mitsubishi FTO and the couple of Aston Martins that are highlighted that we've not been able to review in previous games, either because they weren't there or because they couldn't be fully viewable. Yeah, even though this is far from my favourite hot hatchback, it's still a pretty good one. Plenty of power, the all-wheel drive keeps it all in check, and being a Golf, it is still practical. Sure, it weighs a bit more maybe than some more hot hatchbacks out there, like from Renault, but it's still a decently lightweight car at £3,300. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been around Laguna Seca, which is no longer Mazda Laguna Seca, by the way. It's called something else I've forgotten now. It'll come to me when I eventually see it on a sign somewhere. Yeah, that's it, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So the sponsorship has changed hands. Oh dear. We had a pretty good first lap and now we're screwing it up on this second lap. improve a little bit on our third and final lap. Although it doesn't have to be our third and final lap, as you can see it says it only required 3 laps. I'm a little bit annoyed by it being a requirement. It just makes, you know, it'll be a little bit more restrictive. A lot of this game does seem to hold back your freedom of what you want to do in certain regards, which is a little bit annoying. Chief among which is the fact that you can't buy upgrades normally. So if I want to, you know, mess around with a car, for instance, be it for racing or anything like that, I have to drive it for a long time first. Which, yeah, is not ideal whatsoever. It's really, really, really stupid, I feel. They say it's to encourage you to get used to your car and get familiar with your car, but if you enjoy driving a car, you're going to do that anyway, so I don't see the point of trying to force people down that route to stick with a car for, you know, several races just so they can get some upgrades that they need for a future race or going online or anything like that. Oh dear, brake. Oh, sorry Ford. That's giving me a penalty. Perfectly justified, given I crashed into someone. Yet to go online, purely because I haven't played enough of this to get any cars upgraded. Oh dear. There we go, so we can finish the practice now and move on to the main race. So this is a championship, so there's 4 or 5 races I think. Hopefully we'll do a bit better against people rather than just hot lapping around the track. Right, let's go to race. Right, you can pick your position, and as you can see it projects the kind of position you might be getting in for. The further down you go, the higher your podium bonus goes, so if you get first to third, then you will get a much higher amount of money. But I'm going to stick with 12th, it's middle of the grid. It does predict at least a podium, which is good, especially for our first race in our first championship, so yeah, we'll go for that. And something even cooler is the fact that you can pick how much fuel and what tyres you're going to be in. Tyres at the moment are stock, so you can't choose, but as you can see, you can choose how much fuel you'll get, and the lower you go, the less fuel you'll have for a certain amount of laps, but it does make you lighter. So we're going to go for 30%. It's double the amount of laps that we need, but it does also give us a decent allowance, because as you can see, if you start going down a little bit more, you get to 6 laps, and if you go down to a fifth of a tank, then you're only going on 5. So I just want a little bit of leeway. If obviously you rev your engine too hard, or you rev it off the line or anything like that, that is going to eat up your fuel, and it's not going to, you know, give you the best chance of completing the race in overall. So you can rev your engine off the line, it will use up your fuel. Being a little aggressive there. Stuck behind a lot of cars in this pack, but we've made our way into the top 10 finally. Just got past the Audi. Ford, which does have more power than we do, but yeah, sorry. So yeah, the assists that I have are only really traction control and ABS. No stability control. The steering is on simulation. And I am simulating the fuel and tyre wear. Power out the corner. The Veloster N might be a little bit quicker than we are. Drive behind them though a little bit. Sand again. So yeah, the lack of freedom in this game isn't just restricted to upgrades and having to race cars constantly to get those upgrades. It's also restricted by the fact that you have to do practice runs, practice laps, at least 3, which again, I don't feel like I need 3 laps to get used to a track to a certain degree. There are certain tracks that I've obviously been on numerous Forza games before that, you know, I know plenty of. I'd only really need 1 lap to familiarise myself again with them, and yet you're forced to take 3. It's very restrictive, I'm not sure why. At the end of the day, this is a game, it's not real life, it shouldn't have to be following these kind of rules and all that lot. It should be as open, you know, open to people as much as possible. The AI are definitely pretty good as well though, to be fair. Definitely seem to be improved over previous Forza games. Oh dear. To the point where I'm doing that by accident. Sorry Hyundai. Don't know how I got no penalty there. We are struggling to keep up with the other guys at the front though, to be fair. Now granted, there are no upgrades on this car. It is still stock. Not sure if that's the case for the competitors or not. You'd imagine it would cater to that being something people want to do, but again, with the way this game's ethos seems to be, do what we want, not what you want, then it wouldn't surprise me that they're upgraded. Can we make up some ground on our last lap that's coming up? We can. But at the end of the day, this is a championship, so it's based on points. No idea why that car was braking there. At least we're in the top 5 now. Would have preferred a podium. Hell, would have preferred a win, but we are at the end of the day still learning what this game's got in store for us physics wise. Maybe I could have lightened the load a little bit in terms of the fuel. At the end of the day, this is still a 2-litre car. It's not some, you know, big V8 or anything like that, so it's definitely more efficient than I gave it credit for, which is why we've still got about 4 laps worth of fuel left. It's definitely a game that takes into consideration the kind of engine sizes that cars have and how much that eats fuel or not. Because I was driving around in the opening championship where you get to pick one of 3 cars. I'm going to rewind that. Which you have a choice between a Subaru, a Honda Civic, and a Mustang. I chose a Mustang, and yeah, that was definitely eating fuel through fuel quite a fair bit. But you could notice the difference when you were a little bit lighter on the throttle and kept the revs down. The fuel wasn't being eaten up as much, but as soon as you started flooring it and having the revs hit the limit and like, it was eating it a lot more. So the fuel consumption definitely seems to be better simulated here, which is again always a good thing. Did better on that lap, but yeah, only got 5th place there, so yeah, not an awful start by any means. We improved 7 positions over our starting amount, and I like how it does tell you where people started and where they finished. So the 1st place winner was in 2nd originally, so he went up 1, we went up 7, so did someone else in 14th. 22nd went down 9 places. That is not very good, to be honest, but still, it's a decent start to this championship. Gives us 20 points. So yeah, let's see what we can do in the next race. Right, so here we are at Lime Rock Park, full circuit. Let's see what we can do with this one. Hopefully get a little bit of a better position. I'm just going to change it so the drivatars don't have their liveries on. I don't know how you can do that, to be honest. Where art thou? There we go. Drivatar designs off. Player designs off. There we go. I like my cars looking more stock in terms of visuals, if possible, that is. Right, let's do a practice. Again, it'd be 3 laps, which, yeah, again is quite restrictive. I'm not against being able to do practice laps. I'm all for it being an option, but I don't see why it should be forced upon people. If there is a way to skip these, then I'm all ears, quite frankly, but I'm not seeing it myself. I'm not saying I'm the best driver in the world and can easily get used to a track or anything like that, but the lack of options is the thing that's concerning me, not the fact that I can do it. Or the fact that it's able to be done. It should be an option. For whatever reason, they've decided not to do that. Catchy monkey. Oh dear. See? Not perfect at this game by any means, which is why I'm open to doing a couple of practice laps, but when it's forcing you to do several, especially if it's going to be on a long track, I'm not seeing the option to be doing any less than 3. But if you know you're going to be going around Le Mans or anything like that, which is, you know, a good several miles, that's just going to be a more of a pain than a eye-opener, to be honest. Not that we have to worry about it with Nürburgring, given that we only have the GP circuit, so no worries in that regard. Can't believe they've launched this game without this Nürburgring on it. That is so stupid. Yeah, I hope I'm not sounding too negative about this game, because at the end of the day it does look great. The physics are really good. They're certainly, you know, more, you know, well designed, I feel. And you couple that to the vast array of assists for all sorts of different kinds of people, making this so much more accessible, which is always a good thing. And there are several cars on this game that I'm glad are in again, that were either not at all in Forza Horizon 5 or haven't been in a Forza Motorsport game for a while. There are those that I'm more than happy to see, but for a game that is on, you know, a brand spanking new console pretty much, has all of the power and the graphical capabilities and whatnot, to only have just over 500 cars from launch and not even the Nürburgring, and at the end of the day not a massive amount of tracks, is just, yeah, just feels like tiny incremental progress rather than, you know, substantial progress, which has been kind of the thing for most of these Forza Motorsport games, to be honest. Oh look, there's a glitch. So yeah, right, we're gonna go down to about 28. No, we don't need anywhere near that. 20%. Yeah, right, go for a 5th. I have seen plenty of glitches on this game as well, so it's not exactly like it's perfect on launch to, you know, make up for the fact that some of the elements in this game aren't quite as in depth or not. You know, I'd forgive somewhat the lack of cars and lack of tracks if, you know, graphically it was perfect and the like, but as you saw there, the Hyundai took for a little while to pop into existence, and during the Builders Cup, which is where you start the game on, with a few races in the pits, things were popping in and out of existence and the like, so yeah, it's not exactly perfect on launch either, graphically, so even though it does look good, and the 60 frames per second are definitely performing well for the most part, it's not exactly perfect. And why are the driver car designs still on this? Specifically said, no. Where are we? Yeah, I said they're off, so why are they still on? It's more of a just a YouTube thing that I want the designs off for. I don't want something slipping through that is offensive or garish. apparently I'm not even allowed to do that. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. God damn it. Come on. And that's another thing as well, they've not changed the way rewinds work. You'd have thought by now they'd have listened to the fact that picking a point to stop the rewind is far better than preset parts to for the rewind to go to. Because I didn't need to rewind all the way back there. Drag getting behind the Ford. I say drag, drafting, obviously that's what I meant. Come on, reel him in. Oi. Naughty. Oh, we rubbed a little bit there. I don't like the way the position of the lap counter is either. I'd much prefer it to be near the map. More likely to be looking down than I am to be looking up at the end of the day. Because you know the car is on the lower end of the screen.
3 more.
Understeered way too wide there, yeah. I can't remember ever any of the other Forza Motorsport games having the lap counter up the top. And if it was a lot bigger than that. I seem to go to the Gran Turismo approach of festoon the screen with, oh god damn it, festoon the screen with all the information in the world. And to help whether or not all of the necessary stuff is there, just have everything there. Quite frankly, unless you're doing endurance racing, I don't really see the point of having the tyre wear there or the fuel there. Because we're only doing 6 laps here and it's not the longest of tracks, so I don't really see the point in that. If you're going to pit stop in a race like this, then you're never going to win anyway, so... no one else is going to pit stop, that's for sure. Come on, let's try and get a podium at least. Reel in the hind eye. Banged up my Golf. Yeah, get into podium. Do you have another lap yet? So we might well get to second. Don't think we're going to get to first though. Pretty sure we've got more power than the Mini.
One more lap.
It will be lighter, probably a little bit more agile. Yes, come on. Yeah. Yes. Suck it, Mini. Second place. I am happy with that. It's a massive 10 places up.
We finished P2.
Did anyone have a worse race than I did in terms of going down? Nope, nobody went down more than 2 there. Yeah, that grid pretty much stayed the same. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. And that's going to put us up into first place. We're now on 45. We're only 1 point ahead of the Astra and 5 points ahead of the Audi, but that is still pretty good. So yeah, we're going to end it there for today. These championships are obviously going to take a lot longer than they would on Forza Horizon 5. With the practice laps and all of that lot. So yeah, might well skip the practice lap in terms of the video for the next race, but we will definitely jump into the next one in the next episode. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.